Hi there, welcome back to the YouTube channel. Today we're going to look at Niv-Mizzet Guildpact from the Murders at Karloff Manor set. I'll get it tongue-tied and untied at some stage. Wooburg for 6/6 Dragon Avatar. Flying, hexproof and multicoloured, and when it deals combat damage to a player, X damage to any target. Target player draws X card and you gain X life, where X is a number of different colour pairs among permanents you control that are exactly 2 colours. This has been one of the decks I've been umming and ahhing over for a week. Well, for at least a couple of weeks anyway, since the set hit MTGO. I started originally with this deck looking at all the guild mages, but they're just so easy to kill off at the moment, it's ridiculous. I then went and looked at all the different types of enchantments we could have and maybe do it that way, something a bit different. Couldn't really think of anything. But there was one type of enchantment that hits me, and that was the gods. Because a lot of the gods are 2 colours, and they are indestructible. And that was a big problem I had. Now, obviously, they're susceptible to fair whale, but at the end of the day, they're going to cause people headaches. To back it all up, I've gone a very different route for me. This is a real heavy ramp deck, I'm going to be honest with you now. And yeah, things get interesting as we go along with this deck. So this is what today's deck looks like. As always, we'll start at the beginning, and the mana base, there is one of each basic, just so we're clear. But everything else is either a version of a tri-land, like the Frontier, Bivouac here, or the Triome here, the Indatha, I think I've said that right, Triome. They're all here. We've got all 20 of them in the deck, and then we're backing that up with things like Blood Crypt, Breeding Pool, Godless Shrine, the Shocklands, and that gives us 37 lands. There are a couple of things I do want to point out if I can find them. No, there you go, it's just that one. There you go, Inventor's Fairs here. Because as you can see, we have a lot of artifacts in that deck. And this is going to give us a way of gaining a little bit of life, which we may need with this deck. The reason is self-explanatory. So, the artifact ramp is Mox Tantalite, Talisman, Soul Ring. And then one of every type of talisman available, just so we can make sure we get all our mana coming through quite happily. Chromatic Lantern to back everything else up, to make sure we have got all the colours we need all the time. And then the Tomb of the Guildpact. This doubles the card draw. I'll point this out now. The other thing we've got as a ramp spell is Jacintha, the Wellspring, as a companion in this deck. Because everything has got, only one type of colour mana symbol in its set, we're having this in here today. So that works really nicely. You're probably wondering how we're going to get around all the comes into play tapped abilities. Well, Amulet of Vigor does that quite happily with this deck. Obviously, we've got no real way of searching it out, so hopefully we'll get it early enough to make it work. But even if we get it late in the game, we're still going to be hitting one of the lands at some stage. I mean, we are playing 37 lands in the deck, and most of them come into play tapped. This gets us round having that comes into play tapped ability, so it's here. The rest of the deck, as you can see, is all multicoloured virtually. So, here we go. Let's go through the deck quickly, because most of the cards you've seen before, like Elixir of Immortality, you all know what this does. Dockside Extortionist gives us some treasures so we can ramp a little bit harder. Bloom Tenderer gives us some more ramp, and we should be able to get lots of coloured mana off this. Farseek, Nature's Law, and 3 Visits go and fetch all the Triomes, or whatever you want to call them, as they come through. Where are they? Triome there, all the cycle lands, the ones I'm talking about. We have Heroic Intervention to protect all our stuff where we need it to be. Obviously, it doesn't protect against Farewell, but hey, we've got to try something. This protects against Farewell, though, Teferi's Protection. So, if you think your opponent's going to cast it and you've got Teferi's Protection in your hand, keep up your 3 mana to make sure you can cast it to save everything. We've got Assassin's Trophy, just to take out the things that are annoying us. Yes, it gives our opponents a basic land, but I'd sooner do that than face down something that's really awkward to deal with. And then we have lots of legends. So Ruby Daring Tracker is here to give us a little bit of mana ramp as well. And hopefully get the +2/+2 when we get the 4 power creatures or more. Jensen Carthalion Druid Exile gives us a 4/4 once it's in play every time we cast Niv-Mizzet, which is nice, or so on. But even if we just cast a multi-colour spell, the Scrying can help. Coiling Oracle is the land and the card draw, and Cura's Follower lets us untap things as we go along, so we're not going to complain too much. Glass of the Guildpact, however, is key in this deck. It gives all of our creatures +1/+1 because of what they all are. They are all multicoloured, so yeah, we're going to deal with it that way. The first of the Murder at Karloff Manor's legends appears is Alquest Prophet Master Sleuth. We get this going as well. Then this goes on to Tessa, Opulent Oligarch. Yes, you're not going to have that many clues to sacrifice. But, you know, hopefully once we get some damage going, we get a clue at the end of each turn, we can sack it, get the little white and black spirit creature token, which obviously becomes a 2/2 because of the Glass of the Guildpact. Farika is the first of the gods we have coming in. Yes, exiling things from people's graveyards and giving them a snake token isn't always the best plan, but once you've got lots of indestructible gods in play and someone's maybe playing a reanimated side of things, it's a good way of taking care of it. Clothus does the whole life, extra mana or life and damage. Rhythm of the Wild means all our creatures can come in either a little bit bigger with a +1/+1 or have haste if we need to do the Alpha Strike. And General Ferrous Auroric. I forgot about this card existing for Modern Horizons 2, but oh, is it fun in this deck. Whenever you cast a multicolored spell, you get a 4/4 red and white golem artifact creature token, which is a 5/5 some of the time. Or yeah, with War Leader's Call, it gets another +1/+1 and deals the damage when it enters the battlefield. So yeah, keep it going. Faebara Elder really does help us with our mana ramping. Etheria hopefully gets us to draw a card in the next turn's upkeep, so that's nice. Jahora will make sure we Jahora, there we go. We'll make sure we draw cards once we get it in play. And Cawdor makes sure that we don't die if we're having a bit of a problem with our deck, because we can play this and make all our opponents attack everyone else apart from us for a turn. So yay, go for us. Mogus, God of Slaughter, just upsets people by making them sacrifice creatures unless they take 2. And Yaris, Roar of the Old Gods, does have a little bit of interaction with one of the other legends we've got coming up, but this is mainly here to make sure we've got global haste on everything else. So yay, go for us. Ironis gives all our creatures menace, and then stops all the damage when we attack. So yay, our creatures basically become indestructible when they're attacking, which is nice. Ingala, Inzika, and Azika basically means we go, hello, let's have a whole load of fun and use our creatures to cast even more creatures and gain more cards. And the little bit of fun in games with Vanifar, because we can cloak cards in our hand into play when we turn them face up, yeah, it comes back into play as a face-up creature card. So, yeah, it's all good. So there's a little bit of interaction between Yaris and Vanifar, but not enough that I'm going to get really excited about it. Urza's Ruinous Blast helps us control the board because most of the stuff we are playing is legendary, so we get rid of everything else. Phalanx gives us a backup win condition by milling out our opponents. Karanos, God of Storms, does all sorts of things. We either draw cards or lightning bolt things. Yeah, okay. And Xenagos will give people fits. Everyone knows the Xenagos power level is stupidly good, and it still remains the same even in this deck. Assemble the Legion is here because with the Guildpact and the War Leader's Call, we get 3/3 soldiers. Yeah, okay, I'll cope with that. And we get them every time. We don't have to do anything, just pay the 5 mana and let it go. And to make sure we've got something to lead them, Aurelial, the Law Above, is also here. I've been having a lot of fun with this card in draft, and it's time she shine and something else. I did a deck tech on it a while back. It's one of the very first ones I did, which has been quite popular in the channel. But this one just sitting in here as an additional body in here seems like a plan. Kamatra, the God of the Harvest, means we can go and search out all the cycling trilands when we play creature spells. And Krufix, God of Horizons, gives us a little bit of mana ramping, keeping our coloured mana becomes colourless. That's fine, we can use it any way we want to. The other version of Niv-Mizzet, Reborn, this is when I think, if I remember the story correctly from War of the Spark, this is when Niv-Mizzet became the Guildpact. And you just, when you cast him, you look at the top 10 cards of your library, put all the colour pairs you want into your hand, and then the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Invasion of Ravnica is also here. Comes into play, you can exile a thing that isn't exactly 2 colours, so that's cool. Target non-land permanent isn't exactly 2 colours. Yep, sounds good to me. And then if we can get it flipped, which we should be able to do with if we've got 2 versions of Niv-Mizzet and we have another flyer coming up in a minute. Killing it off for the 4 is not that difficult, and get it flipped into the Guildpact, which makes life even better for us, is great. Tomb of the Guildpact I've already mentioned. Tome of the Guildpact, not Tomb. I keep saying Tomb for some reason, it's Tome. Tome of the Guildpact gives us a card draw when we cast one of our multicolored spells and adds a little bit of mana ramp. Etheros, Shroud Veiled. Hopefully we'll get the coin counters chucked around so they all come back into play. The other flyer in the deck is Rakdos, Patron of Chaos from Murder of Karloff Manor. At the beginning of your end step, target opponent may sacrifice 2 non-land, 2 non-token permanents. If they don't, you can draw 2 cards. So, yeah, that keeps people happy in Commander. Izoni, Centre of the Web. We can collect the evidence if we want to, or we can sacrifice the tokens we're hopefully creating to draw 2, surveil 2, gain 2, or sorry, surveil 2, draw 2, gain 2. So that's all good. Primeval's Glorious Rebirth. Return everything, because everything is legendary virtually in the deck, and hopefully, you know, people will wrath them away and they'll go in the graveyard instead of using Farewell. Just bring everything back for 7 mana. Can't go wrong once you've got a legendary in play, which isn't that hard. And Atraxa, the Grand Unifier. Now, I'm going to be honest, when I originally recorded this deck, I did put Kamal's Vow in here, and then I realised I couldn't play that because of the thing that I haven't talked about yet. So, swapped it out and put in Atraxa, and yeah, Atraxa works better than I thought it would do, so I'm not going to complain. Last card, Blasphemous Act, just to give us a bit of board control, you know, to back up our Teferi's Protection, Heroic Intervention. I have done Heroic Intervention, then cast Blasphemous Act and won with an Alpha Strike. That is something you can do, so bear that little trick in mind, but I'm sure most of you know that anyway. And the card I haven't talked about yet is the companion that's sitting over here with Niv-Mizzet, is Jacantha, I think I'm saying it right, the Wellspring. 4 and either green or red for a 5/5, and when it comes into, once you've got it from there, so you pay the 3, get it in your hand, pay the 5, get it into play, then you'll be tapping it for 5 every turn after that. Works really well if you've got Yaris in play. I will say this now, because basically you pay the 5 and you've got the 5 back straight away to cast something that may be very useful to you. But that is it. That is my take on Niv-Mizzet, the Guildpact. I'm really looking forward to playing this deck. I'm probably going to play it at some stage today as I'm recording this video. If you want to see me play it on stream, come and see me on a Thursday night. There's a link to Twitch down below. So Thursday night, around about 7:30 UK time, or Sunday afternoons from about 12:30 UK time. We get the streams in, we get them done, and we have a bit of fun. Yeah. You know, you want to see what the fun is, go and have a look at last Friday's video that came on the YouTube channel. You can see the very long stream replay. I recommend you go and watch the 4th game. I've put a link where the game starts. Brilliant game. But anyway, enough of that. Please, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button down below. I'm sitting at 340 as I record this. I'm still aiming to get to 500 by the end of 2024. So, you know, help me out if you can. Come and follow me on Twitch. Come and talk to me over there. Anyone who comes and follows me on Twitch when they hit the chat gets access to our Discord channel. So feel free to come and have a look at there. And that's where we spend all the time talking about Commander with me and my mods and everyone else. But that's it for now. Thanks for watching the video. Hope you've made it to the end. And I'll see you tomorrow for yet another Murder at Karloff Manor's legendary creature I've turned into a Commander. Take care. See you soon. Bye.